welcome to a day in my life. This is just a weekday where my kids actually had in-person tutoring, and so I mixed up my starter before we headed out the door, got everybody organized, and we hit the road. It was our first morning where it was borderline snow rather than rain. I had a few things on my to-do list this day. Number one was I wanted to get sourdough mixed up, so that's why I took care of my starter earlier. The next thing was I wanted to finally use a pumpkin from my garden. So once I tidied up the remaining breakfast mess, I then started the oven and picked a cutie. To clean up, and while the pumpkin baked, I was going to get my workout in, but my husband brought me home a coffee, and so we sat and visited for a little while, and I got to my workout just after that. Prioritizing time together when we can actually just chat is like gold, and so I'm willing to shuffle my day around to be able to do that. The workout did eventually happen. I have been trying this new Pilates app. It's like a Pilates strength fusion. For the last few years, I've been hooked on Carolyn Gervin and done mostly weight training, like heavier weights, as well as my Peloton. But I also used to do ballet back in the day. I sound so old. But there's something about Pilates that I really love that helps me engage some of those muscles that I used to use for dance. And I feel like my posture really took a hit in the years of having babies and always carrying someone, and my shoulders leaning forward, rounded for nursing, all those things. So I'm really just enjoying working with some of those smaller accessory muscles while still combining weight training. This workout in particular had heavier weights than some do, but still had a lot of that great core component of a traditional Pilates. My kids being gone for certain days of the week is still kind of a new schedule for us, and so it's very late for me to be working out and showering. Typically on a school day where I have my kids at home, I try to work out before they even get up and before we start our day, but I'm still working on what these days look like. Oh, where you're serving me somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This isn't like a pick up and go. Gotcha.
Here you go.
Thank you so much. Oh, wow. I even have a construction crew to eat.
No.
I eat them?
Those are just gummies.
Oh, they're gummies. Okay.
But these are just some of those strawberry ones.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, we're about 80% of the way ready. We still have hair to deal with. We have noisy projects going on. Anyway, super simple lunch. This is how I roll. I had some ground beef left in the fridge that was seasoned for tacos, and I had 2 chicken thighs. So, neither option was fully enough to feed one person or the other. So honestly, I chopped up the chicken thighs. They're in with the beef. I'm gonna cut up some avocado, probably throw some grapes out, and that's lunch. It's not fancy, but it's delicious and it'll keep us all full. I also warmed up some boba. So we're gonna have some of that. It's always scary to pour. Ah, I should use a ladle. But you know, should and will, two different things. Brown broth in cups. Meat's ready. Husband's supposed to be here soon.
I'm done.
You're done?
I'm not done cutting.
Okay.
Still at my
Brown broth. Avocado. Meat. Stevia ketchup. Honestly, I love simple meals like this. Like, I know they're not pretty. They're not, like, you're not asking me for the recipe. But it works. It's like so effective for just good quality food, stress-free. Tell me what you're having for lunch, Miss B.
I'm having a wrap.
Okay, wraps are not, they're not my favorite thing to give my kids. I don't buy them that often. But we now have a couple days a week that my kids need packed lunches, and I'm just trying to get in a groove of what to have on hand. Because I haven't been eating a lot of gluten, my husband hasn't been eating a lot of gluten, I haven't been on my sourdough game, so I would like to get a loaf going today.
I have.
You have? Anyway, what we can look at here, at least, we're getting tons of protein into this little one. Anyway, cucumbers in there, lots of protein, some cheese, because kids love cheese. So it's kind of a, we do our best, and we don't stress beyond that. The pumpkin was done long before lunch and before my workout, but I had just turned it off so I could just walk away from it for the time being so I could get my workout in and shower. So back to it. We get ready in stages over here in between random tasks. I did a haircut for my husband after lunch. Now I'm gonna, oh, and I blended the pumpkin puree. Now I'm gonna look for a recipe, maybe turn a muffin recipe into like a cake pan recipe or something. Unless I have. I really like the parchment paper muffin liners, but I'm running low on them, and I really don't like making a healthier muffin without them because it's always like sticking in the pan and making life difficult. So I might just turn it into a loaf, but I'll use like a square pan or something, not an actual loaf pan, because they take way longer to cook. So I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna try to find a recipe, and I'm gonna whip up a loaf of sourdough. It's about 1:30, so I think I still have time. I'm gonna start with my sourdough so that it can sit for the hour that it needs while I whip up the cake or loaf or whatever we're gonna call it. Okay, let's see. Bubbly enough from the morning. Okay, I like to use, so I mill my own flour. This is my milled flour, but I find we still like a little bit of white flour in there just to like make it a little fluffier. I love the flavor of the hard red, but a little bit of the white just really helps get that lift that I want from my bread and the fluffiness that my kids really like. So most of it's gonna be the whole wheat, but we gotta make something people like to eat. it's gonna sit for an hour, and then I'll squish in that water and salt. Okay, so we use the beautiful pumpkin puree. In here, I'm gonna add eggs, a couple tablespoons of avocado oil, maple syrup, all the good stuff. We'll whip it up and get it in the oven. It had been about an hour, so I went ahead and squished the water and salt into my sourdough, and then that sat, and over the course of the afternoon I did my stretch and folds, which I didn't film. The kids came home from tutoring and devoured a good third of the pumpkin loaf. They were really excited about it. So now I just finished cutting it up and putting it in a container, sticking it in the pantry for packing lunches or just having snacks at home on other days. Supper was another super easy meal. I had thrown a roast in the crock pot the day before this, and we ended up not using it because we went out for dinner. So I warmed it up, made some carrots, and voila. Just before bed, I shaped my sourdough loaf and got it into the fridge. I know this video might feel like my day was really random, but that's just kind of how the days go. I feel like most moms probably feel this way. Like you jump from one task to the next, you start one thing, you go and finish another, and then you jump back to that task. It's just kind of the reality of homemaking. So hopefully you don't feel like you got whiplash, and maybe feel a little bit motivated to go do a few things in your kitchen.